He was once hailed as the Crusader of Wall Street, a political powerhouse with a meteoric rise through New York politics. But Eliot Spitzer's story isn't one of triumph. It's a cautionary tale of how even the most principled public figures can fall spectacularly from grace. This is the rise and unraveling of Client 9. Eliot Spitzer first made national headlines as New York's Attorney General, earning his reputation by aggressively targeting corporate fraud and white-collar crime. He championed the rights of ordinary investors, forcing massive financial institutions to pay billions in settlements. Spitzer's tenacity won him admiration from progressives and made him a nightmare for corrupt CEOs. In 2006, he ascended to the governorship with a landslide victory, positioned as a future presidential contender. But in 2008, everything changed. During a federal investigation into a high-priced international prostitution ring, known as the Emperor's Club VIP, authorities stumbled across the alias Client 9. That client turned out to be Spitzer. Wiretap evidence and financial records linked him to multiple transactions and hotel meetings with escorts. One of the most publicized of these escorts was Ashley Alexandra Dupre, a 22-year-old aspiring musician. Spitzer reportedly paid over $15,000 for encounters, all while in office as governor. The most serious legal question was whether Spitzer violated the Federal Mann Act, a 1910 law prohibiting the transportation of individuals across state lines for prostitution or immoral purposes. Prosecutors investigated whether Spitzer arranged for Dupre to travel from New York to Washington, D.C., a key trigger under the act. While the scandal ignited media frenzy, Spitzer was never criminally charged. Legal experts argue that successful Mann Act prosecutions typically require clear evidence of coercion or trafficking, neither of which applied here. Additionally, some questioned whether prosecuting consensual conduct was worth the public resources. Still, Spitzer's hypocrisy struck a nerve, given his prior moral posturing and crackdowns on vice. What made this case so controversial wasn't just the law, it was the ethics. As governor, Spitzer had campaigned on a platform of integrity and reform. Many viewed his actions as a betrayal, not just of public trust, but of his own ideals. Should private indiscretions disqualify someone from public office? Can leaders enforce moral laws they themselves secretly violate? These were the questions suddenly dominating legal debates and Sunday morning talk shows. Another key takeaway was the role of financial surveillance. The investigation began with flagged transactions, suspicious wire transfers meant to conceal the true purpose of payments. This exposed how easily individuals, even governors, can be caught through routine, anti-money laundering systems. Some civil liberties advocates expressed concern that the tools used to uncover terrorist financing were now being used to investigate personal misconduct. This raised deeper questions. How far should the government go in policing morality? And are we comfortable with this level of surveillance when no public funds or coercion are involved? One detail that shocked many was how Spitzer attempted to structure his bank payments to avoid detection. He allegedly made several smaller transactions under $10,000 to prevent triggering federal reporting requirements. This tactic, known as structuring, can itself be a federal crime, though Spitzer was not charged with it. Still, this raised red flags and demonstrated how deeply he understood the financial systems he once regulated. On March 12, 2008, just days after the story broke, Spitzer resigned. In his brief statement, he said, "I have disappointed and failed to live up to the standard I expected of myself. To every New Yorker, and to all those who believed in what I tried to stand for, I sincerely apologize." Lieutenant Governor David Paterson stepped in, making history as New York's first black governor. Meanwhile, Spitzer's political career lay in ruins. Despite the scandal, Spitzer remained a public figure. He briefly returned as a political commentator and, in 2013, launched a campaign for New York City Comptroller. While he gained some support, the shadow of Client 9 loomed too large. He lost the race and faded from electoral politics. But Spitzer's story didn't vanish. In law schools and ethics seminars, his downfall remains a case study in legal boundaries, public morality, and the unique responsibilities carried by those in power. The Spitzer saga also sheds light on how differently the justice system handles similar conduct depending on status, privilege, and public perception. Had Spitzer been a low-income individual caught in a prostitution sting, would the decision not to prosecute have been the same? Legal scholars say such disparities reveal much about the selective nature of justice in America. His case also underscores a timeless lesson. When you build a career on ideals, transparency, accountability, and moral clarity, you must live by them. Otherwise, the fall isn't just personal. It becomes public, political, and permanent. Spitzer's story became a cautionary tale about the weight of public trust. Leadership demands integrity. Private actions matter as much as public ones. The greatest leaders embrace accountability, knowing trust is hard to earn and easy to lose. Spitzer's fall reminds us, our ideals are only as strong as our commitment to live by them. We must demand integrity from our leaders and ourselves. Trust is our most valuable currency. Once lost, it's nearly impossible to regain. If you found this deep dive into political scandal, legal ethics, and accountability compelling, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth legal and political analysis. And thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.